பாதங்கள் தீர்க்கும் பரமடி காட்டும் வேதமைத்துக்கும் வித்தாகும் கோதை தமிழ் ஐயைந்தும் ஐந்தும் அறியாத மான்றிழை வையம் சுமப்பதும் வம்பு. Yesterday we looked at the Vāri Thirunam, Thiruppāvai Pāsuram. There are two other Vāri Thirunams, also known as Nal Pattus. Also, they are the Kodai Pirandaur and the Padarangal Tirkum Pamadi Gatum. Traditionally, you chant the Kodai Pirandaur first and then afterwards Padarangal Tirkum, as if they are chanted as if they are one Tani. However, it is shown that they are split in the commentaries. They are shown as two separate Vāri Thirunams. Furthermore, so instead of looking at the first one, Kodai Pirandaur first, and looking at this one second, I've chosen to look at Padarangal Tirkum first, as it's very fitting for today's posture. So hence we will look at that. I forgot to mention yesterday that the author of all of these Vāri Thirunams, Thiruppāvai Pāsuram, Kodai Pirandaur, and Padarangal Tirkum, is Vedapiran Bhattar. Vedapiran Bhattar is the brother of Parasara Bhattar. I've mentioned Parasara Bhattar so many times now, so we should know that he is the son of Kurataivan and one of the Acharyas in the Shiva Vaishnava tradition who has clearly shown a lot of the meanings of the Acharyas. In that sense, his brother, Vedapiran Bhattar, they were twins. He wrote these pasarams, is what we see. So in that sense, we will look at this. Padarangal Tirkum Paramaradi Gattum Vedamanittukkum Vittagum. What does this Thiruppāvai do? That's what the context of this Pāsuram is, this Vāri Thirunamam is. What is the purpose of chanting this? What is the purpose of knowing the meanings? We go about with life, we learn so many different things. All of us I've been through a class known as APU, European History. Never in my life am I ever going to use any of that information until today, actually. I'm going to bring a reference from that for the Pāsuram, but in general, I do not use any of the information I got from most of those classes. Is Thiruppāvai similar to that in the sense that we learn it once, and then afterwards it doesn't have any purpose for us? We see that it says Ayyendum Aindum Ariyada Manirai, Vayam Sumapadam Bambu at the end of this, that if one does not learn this, there's no point in them even existing on this earth. We see that even in traditionally in Shiva Vaishnava families, that this Thiruppāvai, as soon as a person is able to start talking, they will teach Thiruppāvai, they'll make sure that they have that fully memorized. What is the purpose of that? We said any point in, as I mentioned before, my Acharya has said, even a tape recorder can repeat whatever we say. However, what does the really mean with Ayyendum Aindum? What is the point of learning this? This Vāri Thirunamam says that point. Padarangal Tirkum. All of our worries, all of our Padarangal, we see in life, we see so many different stresses, so many different worries. They all come from two different things. They are namely Ahankara, Mamakara. To think that I am the one doing something and I am the one that has this, it is of my property and I'm the one taking care of it. To have these two things is the cause of all our suffering, is what Krishna also says in his Bhagavad Gita. Alvar also in his second, in his Pravandam, Thiruvaimari, in his second Padigam, first he thinks about what is God. Uyarvara Uyarnalam Udayavan Yavanavan, Mayarvara Madilam Merlinan Yavanavan, Ayarvara Mamaragal Adipati Yavanavan, Tuyara Shurari, Turdayan Manane. He speaks about the greatness of the Lord, who that Lord is, what is Brahman. He describes very clearly in those 11 pasarams. And then afterwards, the next set of 11 pasarams, what does he do? He says, Veedamin Muttavam Veeda Sayid, Ummuyir Veedayanide, Veeda Saymine. Let go of all this Ahankara Mamakara. You even see Swami Tirumangiyar, the first pasaram he ever said was, Vadineen, Vadi Varindineen Manattal, Peruntuya Yadampayal Pirandu Kudineen, Kudi Layavar Tamudu, Avatarum Kalaviye Kardi Odineen, Odi Vivador Perla, Unaverum Perum Padam Terintin Adineen, Nadinan Kantakuntain, Nalayavendum Namu. What is he saying? What is the point of this? He's saying that Vadineen, I was left out in the sun and I was shriveling. You see if in the sun you leave out a leaf or something, it will become shriveled, it will become bad, right? That is what he was saying. I was left out in the sun. What did he do? He took his Atma and he put it inside. He put it outside. He put it outside underneath the sun and he let his Atma go become spoiled. What did he do with his body and his thought process of Ahankara, Mamakara? He put that underneath the shade. He put the Atma, the real Sutta, what we really, who we are, outside in the sun, and he took his body and he put it inside the shade, is what our Acharya show. He says that that's what I did. Body name. I body put it. I was suffering. I was so sad because of the way I was like this. Because I thought I was the one doing everything. I had this Padarangal. What happened to him? Kandu Kondeen. Narayana Vennum Namam. I understood who Narayana is. I understood the meaning of this Narayana, and thereby I removed all these Padahangal from me. You see that all Divaprabandhams are similarly an extension, a commentary on the Tirumantra. The Tirumantra is the Narayana Namam that shows us what is the true purpose of our existence, who that God is, that Atta Panchakam that I keep talking about, those 5 topics of Brahman, Prapyasya Brahmano Rupam, who is Brahman, Prapyasya Pratyagatmana, who is the Atma, Praptyupayam, how are we going to reach that Brahman, Palam Praptehe, once we reach that Brahman, what are we going to do, Tata Prapti Virodhicha, what is in our way. It is these exact same things that are shown throughout the Vedas, throughout the Itihasa, throughout the Puranas, in this Narayana Namam as well, and also in all the other Deva Prabandhas. That is what Andal is also saying in this Prabandham. So by learning this, all of our sorrows, all of our stresses, if we just think about it, if when a stress comes to us in life, if we just think of these meanings, all those stresses will go away, is what Vedapiran Bhattar says, Padahangal Tirkum, Paramanadi Kattum. How do we get rid of these stresses? Through Paramanadi. You realize that he is the one that is protecting us. His Tiruvadi is upon all of us. He is not only protecting us in some times, not protecting us at other times. He is consistently protecting us, is what is shown clearly in this Vaidhanam. Padahangal Tirkum, Paramanadi Kattum. It will show you that. Vedamanittukkum Vittagum. You see that so many people, they will learn Thiruppāvai, but they will not learn the meanings of it. They will simply chant it and they will say, oh, if I chant this, I will get married, or something else will happen for me. I will become rich or something like that. If I chant this 30 times, maybe 10 times or something, I will get rich. My riches will come to me. We see so many different things like that. That's not the point of this. Vedamanittukkum Vittu. It has the meanings of all the Vedas. By understanding the meanings of something, like I said, even a tape recorder can say, but by understanding the meanings of it, we will all be able to truly benefit from what is the purpose of it. We will not have that stress. If I were to simply say Narayana Namakke Parayadanavan and did not know the meaning of it, I won't really be able to have that stress-free life. Whereas if I knew Narayana Namakke Parayadanavan means keep calm and Narayana, of course I will not have that stress, because one, I'll keep calm, and I'll know that the person that is going to help me keep calm is that Narayana. All those, that Paramanadi will remove all the Padahangal, is what is shown there. Padahangal Tirkum, Paramanadi Kattum, Vedamanittukkum Vittagum. Any Artham in the Vedas is seen here. You see, we usually say that Mahabharata is so big, 36,000 shlokas. We see that in that Mahabharata, anything that is inside the Mahabharata is not seen anywhere else. If there's something in the world, it has to be in the Mahabharata. There's nothing outside of the Mahabharata, is nothing, is what they say, because of how vast it is. However, Veda Arthams, what is the Veda's purpose? It is again to say these 5 points of the Artha Panchaka. Thiruppāvai tells us those Artha Panchaka, that Artha Panchakam is clearly stated by Andal. That is what is Vedamanittukkum Vittu, or it is the seed of all the Vedas. From it blossoms the entirety of the Vedas, all the Veda Arthams. As I've shown you guys, we can look at Thiruppāvai in a historical context. We can look at Thiruppāvai in a literature-based context. We can look at it as poetry, metaphors. We can look at Swami says as how it shows the Acharya. And we see so many different meanings as to what you see in the Thiruppāvai. All the meanings of the Vedas are here. Especially importantly for us, this Artha Panchakam is what is shown here. That is through the Gunanubhava is what Andal does. That is also seen in the Vedas. You see that here. Vedamanittukkum Vittagum. Not just the Vedas. The summary of all the other Alvars Devaprandam is also seen in this Thiruppāvai. If you learn Thiruppāvai itself, I mentioned the commentaries for Thiruppāvai. You see the 2000 Padi commentary, 2000 verse commentary. You see the 4000 verse commentary, the 3000 verse commentary, and the 6000 verse commentary. Plus Swapadaya Sarthams, so many commentaries known as the Swapadayasams. Beyond that, P.V. Anangaracharya Swami has compiled over 10 books in his own lifetime, showing different meanings than all of these for Thiruppāvai. Plus, beyond that, Mayacharyan has also said a variety of meanings for upwards of 6 months. It is never ending. Yesterday I said Perumal's gunas are never ending. We can also see that this Thiruppāvai is also its own Alavamudam. So it is also a nectar that will never end for us, is what we see. Padahangal Tirkum Paramanadi Kattum, Vedamanittukkum Vittagum. Why is it known as Vittu? Why is it known as seed? Usually the seed is very small, but from that, this huge tree comes. Similarly, the Vedas as well are the huge tree. Thiruppāvai is just 30 pasurams. It took us what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to chant the entirety of it. But within that, you see arthams, you see meanings that can go on for years. And so that is what you see here. You can keep saying those meanings for years. That is the importance of Thiruppāvai, is what we see. Padahangal Tirkum Parmanadigatum. Vedamanithikkum Vittagum. Kodidamil Ayyindum Aindum. I usually split up the pasurams whenever I'm giving these titles, right? I'm doing 5 days at a time, 5 days at a time, 5 days at a time, right? I first did 5 days, then I did 10 days, and afterwards I did 5 days again. Now another 5 days I've given titles. Am I the one that came up with that practice? No. Acharyas say, Munnor Murinda Maritapamal Ket. Pinnor the Tamanai Pesare. Tannenjil Totrede Sunday, the Suttobades Avavarta than Murkarava. You should always speak exactly what our acharyas have spoken. Whatever meanings our acharyas have given, that is the meanings we should give again. What does that mean? That is the purpose of the sampradaya. However, you see a story in Swami Ramanuja's time frame. Swami Ramanuja, he learns Thiruvaimari from one of his acharyas, and at that time, whenever his acharya would give meanings for Thiruvaimari, he would say, but what about these other two arthams? I can say, it will be better if you say it like this. It will be better if you say it like this. To which his acharya gets very mad and he says, there's no point. Why are you continuously saying this? You are saying arthams, you are saying meanings that are not said in the tradition. This is not acceptable. And he stops the kalaksham. To which one of the other disciples of that acharya, he comes and tells him that whatever arthams that Ramanuja say were in the heart of Yamunacharya, was in the heart of the acharya. It is important that you do not just repeat my acharya says. The point of the sampradaya is to not become stunted. What does that mean? In the sampradaya, you see so many different acharyas going down again and again and again. What is the purpose of it? A mission that cannot be achieved in the lifetime of one person is passed down continuously through generations to be achieved finally. And so in that sense, it's important to look at what the hridayam of our acharyas says. What is the heart? What is the true inner message? What do they really want to say? You see that's what Ramanuja did. It is in the spirit of that acharya, not exactly what they said, but rather the spirit of what they said. We should continue to work forward in that sort of message, work forward in achieving those goals. That is the purpose of the sampradaya, to continuously work towards achieving that goal. And similarly, you also see that here. That is what I'm also trying to do with, I'm giving the meanings of Jasmine and Disney Princess, etc., or chess. I don't think in any commentary they've given any of these examples. But however, I'm giving all these examples. You may see these are not. You may say that these are not what your Munorgal said. It is again in the spirit of achieving what they tried to achieve. Right? We have to continue to push forward and try to fulfill their heart's desire, and that's what we are trying to do with this Ayyindum. You just split into sets of 5. So I have given those sets of 5. I do not need to elaborate on that. Ayyindum, 5 times 5. Plus 5 is what is given. Ariyadamane, those who do not learn that. Vayyam Sumappadum Vambu, there's no point in them even existing on this earth. You may ask, why is this so harshly said that there's no even point in them existing? I asked my dad this one time, what is the purpose of this? Can't you just say that, oh, it is good to learn? Or you can say something of the kind, why do you have to say that there's no point in them even existing? To which the answer is very clear actually. By knowing these pasurams, we do not have any stress. If we do not have any stress, what you have in you is what you reflect out in the world again. If you are filled with stress, everybody around you is also going to end up getting stressed. Isn't that a problem? Aren't you only causing stress for other people then? Aren't you removing them from that area income? Furthermore, you also see that when you learn these pasurams, you stop working for yourselves. In today's pasuram, we look at people that think that they are going to achieve something great on their own. They are so great. Abhimana Bangamai. Those people with Abhimana, those Ahankaram, what will they do? They will continuously work towards themselves. When somebody wants to, we looked even in the story, right? Uttaman, Madhyaman, Adaman. Ogi Ulaga the pasuram. The third day, I pointed out 3 people in the Vamana Avatar story. You saw Vamanan, who was the Uttaman, the greatest of all. He was willing to suffer for somebody else to be happy. You see Madhyaman, you see Indra, who didn't care how anybody else was. As long as I'm good, I don't care how anybody else is. Most of us are in Madhyaman category alone. And then you finally see Adaman, Bali Maharaja, who's willing to harm another person for him to be good. If we do not understand the meanings of these pasurams, we will think that we have to work for our own good, do we not? And then what will happen? We will end up putting ourselves in one of the latter two categories of Madhyaman or Adhaman. We will become a person that is fully focused on ourselves. We'll start as Madhyaman, and then eventually we will see ourselves as Adhaman. We will harm other people for our own good. If that is the case, Vayam Swapadam Bamba, there's no point to their existence, is it not? And so that's why it is important to learn these posturums, is what is said. Not just learn these posturums, not just repeat it, but rather to understand the inner message that Narayane Namakke Paredavan is shown here. With that, we will look at today's posture. Angan gñālatthu abhimāna bhangamāya mandinin pallit kattit kīre.
Sangamiruppaar pol vandadala peydum kingini vaaicheda tamarai poo pole sengen chirichiride emmel uliyavo tingalam aadityanum ezhar pol angam irandum kondu engal mel lokudiyal engal mel saapapadante ilorum bhava.
With this, I will start off with a couple of stories. She says that Angan gñālatthu, those that rule the entirety of the world. So we'll look at a couple of people that have ruled the entirety of the world. First, we will look at, from Shakespeare's play, Julius Caesar. In that play, you see that Caesar was the emperor of the Roman Empire. He was so great. What ended up happening to him? You see that at the end of the day, his own closest friend, he thought that he was invincible. He did not have any fear. He thought he was invincible, that who can come defeat me, is the idea that he had. He thought that the entirety of the world was under his feet. You see what ended up happening. He was eventually stabbed behind the back. He was stabbed in the back by his closest friend, Brutus. You too, Brutus, is what he asks. You see that he was at greatness. He fell down because of his ahankaram. He thought that he was the one running the whole thing. In reality, he was not running anything. And then before he could realize that, somebody next to him betrayed him. Similarly, you also look at the Disney movie, Emperor's New Groove. In that movie, you see King Cusco. He thought that he was so great. In fact, he had a person follow him around, chant, always singing his hype song. He thought that this person should come along with me. You see these rajas, these kings, they say they come along. They will have a person right next to them to always say their praises. They will have this huge silver stick, and they will say all these praises of these kings. Similarly, this emperor had a person that was doing that right next to him. This emperor, what he decided was that he was the center of the entirety of the world, right? So what he did was, considering he was ruling the entirety of the world, he decided that there was this one village, some people were living there. He wanted to, however, have a amusement park just for his own sake, right? That's what you see, this Abhimana Bangama, this Abhimana, the person, he had Abhimana, this Angan gñālatthu, what he wanted to do is, he destroyed that entirety of that village, and he built an amusement park there, was his plan. He wanted to build an amusement park there. Eventually what happened was, his closest advisor turned him into a llama. Some curse they put on him and he turned into a llama. He had to get the help of a peasant from that village, and through that only he was able to come back to his normal state, and he had to depend on that person. He thought he was so great, he can easily push away people and he can be great. He was not great at all. He eventually fell back down. Even Arvar says a similar story. We always love the Virnayagamai Padigam. A lot of my friends, we speak about how that's such a fun Padigam. Because Arvar in 4.1, he brings up this our favorite character from Thiruppāvai, Karunai Kavanda Kala. Virnayagamai, Oda Ulagadan Andava. There's this person. He ran the entirety of the world. Karunai Kavanda Kala Siddhige Panay. What happened to him? He eventually lost everything. And he was begging on the streets. Karunai Kavanda Kala. This dogs would come and bite his legs as he was trying to beg. You see, like, when somebody is at least begging, if they have like somewhat of a decent look, if they are not too much covered in fleece, no dogs even will come and bother them, right? This person, dogs were coming biting him. Then that's how low he was. You see, his bone was so weak. He did not have any flesh on his bones itself, that the dog thought this is bone that we can bite on. That's the state he came down to. Karunai Kavanda Kale Siddhige Panayar. Even his Bhiksha Patram, the vessel that he would beg from, it was also broken. Sedagi upon it was broken. If somebody would put some, he couldn't even afford a vessel. That's what the state he was in. Karunai Kavanda Kala, Sedagi upon it. Everybody saw him as he was begging on the streets. What let's do instead? Let's instead fall at his feet, is what Arvar says in this posture. Instead of thinking that we are doing something, we are achieving something, we are becoming great, let us instead Angan gñālatthu. What is these arasars do? Abhimana bhangamai. They let go of their ahankaram. They realized that it was not them that was truly doing anything. Bhangamai vandinin pallir kattir kire. They fell at Perumal's Tiruvadi. They fell under his feet. What is the point that is brought up here? Again, ahankara mamakaram is in 4 types. I want to bring this up a couple of times so that it can register in our heads, right? I keep bringing up the Jnanam Shakti Prapti Purti. It is definitely established in your heads by now. I've mentioned it every day at least once for now. So now I'm trying to do the same thing with the 4 types of Kartatvam we see. First types of Kartatvam is Sheshatve Kartatvam. Sheshatve Kartatvam refers to we realize that we are under the service of the Lord, that the Lord is the one controlling everything. Yet still we think that we are the ones that are doing something, we are the ones that are serving Him, or we are the ones that are going about with life. It is a cognitive dissonance that we have there. That is what is shown as a Sheshatve Kartatvam. Then next we see Jñālatthu Kartatvam. We think that we have achieved some sort of Jnanam. I am the one that is getting all the knowledge I have. We think that we have Jnanam on the Lord. And so I am the one that has achieved this Jnanam, and thereby I am going to achieve the Lord. Jñālatthu Kartatvam. Again, He is the one that is giving that as well. We are not doing anything in that. We are simply His puppets. That's what Arvar says. And that's what the point here is. Jñālatthu Kartatvam. Afterwards, you see, Kartatve Kartatvam. We think that we go about with everything in our lives. We fully think that we are the ones controlling everything. From the thought that comes to our mind to the action, everything we think that we are the ones doing it. That's what Kartatve Kartatvam is. That is also wrong. That is also a form of Ahankara, Mamakara, to think that I am doing this. Kartatve Kartatvam, Bhogyatve Kartatvam. We realize that He is the Anandamayan. He is the one that is the enjoyer. He is the one that is the true Ananda. Anandamayan refers to He who is always happy. Why is He always happy? Because He's always protecting us. For us to think that we are the ones that are doing something for our own enjoyment and we are thereby happy is foolishness. That is what is Bhogyatve Kartatvam, to think that we are the ones being happy. Shashank, isn't the whole point of this whole Prabandham to remove stress from us and be happy? There's a type of happiness that we should get. It is Padiyai Kirandu un Pavaravai Kanbene. We realize that He has put us there as His Padi. We realize that He is the one that is holding on to us. He has given us this Sheshatam, this Adime. And thereby we realize this happiness that, wow, He is always protecting us. We are always at His feet. So what stress? That is the sort of happiness we should get, as opposed to thinking, I'm going to go do something, I'm going to go eat something, I'm going to go achieve something, and thereby get that happiness. It is realized that happiness comes through, true unlimited happiness comes through always being under His Tiruvadi, is what is shown by these 4 types of Kartatvam. Shows what the 4 types of Ahankara Mamakaram is, and that is what these people used to have. Abhimana Bhangamai. What happened? Peruman, we saw Jñālatthu Kartatvam. Don't forget that. Jñālatthu Kartatvam means they did not realize it on their own. He put that thought in their mind, and thereby they lost this Abhimanam. They realized that, oh, we should not have this Abhimanam. We should not think we are the kings of the world and we are ruling everything. Abhimana Bhangaman, they came and fell at His feet. They have come as a group. A lot of people have come that way. They have shown their head. Similarly, we have also come and shown our heads. We have also come here. Yesterday itself, I asked the question, why is Andal comparing her to other people that are coming out of a different thought process? So you see the Upattu Muvara Avarku Munchante Kappam Tavarkum Kalaye Tuila, Chapamudaya Turudaya, Shatrak Kappam Kurukum, Vimala Tuila, Chapan Menmulay, Chavai Chermangal, Napin Nangai Tive Tuila, Ukamum Tatalim Tandumanani, Pode Amira Taylor and Pavai. And similarly, in yesterday's Pāsuram as well, you see Andal compares herself to other people that are coming at Perumal's feet, yet we see that difference. That Andal is coming out of that purity, because they are not coming out of that purity. They are coming because they have lost something and they are coming. Remember, Jñālatthu Kartatvam. He is the one that is giving them that thought process. He is the one that is giving us this thought process as well. It cannot take him it will take him less than a second to switch that thought process. If we are thinking that, oh, I am coming out of a purity, the other person is coming out of some sort of ahankara, and that itself is an ahankara. That itself is to think that I am greater than that person. That loses the point that you think that then it's Jñālatthu Kartatvam becomes hit. You have to keep in mind these 4 types of Kartatvam and remember that we should not fall into any of them accidentally. So that is what you see here. Jñālatthu Kartatvam, she removes that and she says, we have also come just like them. Because He is the one that made us also come. He is the one that made them also come. Jñālatthu Kartatvam. Angan gñālatthu Abhimana Bhangamai Vandanin Pallir Kattirkire Sangamripal Pol Vandathalai Pedom Kingirivai Cheda Tamarai Pupole. You have eyes just like the Tamarai, the lotus. What is referred to here? Arvar, actually, a question arises. Is the Lord's eyes really like the lotus? Hattureikil Tamarai Nin Kanpadam Ayyova. Sutturaitanan Pon Un Tirimeni Odiyova. Swami Nammarvar says, that Katuraikil Tamarai, we speak about this lotus that is blossoming. It does not match your eyes. Then why does she say Kingini? Why say the Tamari Pupole? Why does the Veda says Kapyasam Pundarikam Eva Makshini or Pundarikakshan? Or you see Kanga Chakra Galapane, Dwarakani Layachana, Govinda Pundarikaksha. Why does she refer to him as Pundarikaksha? Or Sandoga Talavane, Tamari Kanna. You see so many places we say he has a lotus like eyes, lotus like eyes. Swami Nammarvai clearly says Katturekil Tamari Ninkanpadam Kayova. It does not even match your eyes. The tamare, the lotus does not match your eyes. Why is that? Because Swami Nammarvai says that no matter what we try to do, these eyes, we cannot express them. We cannot explain their greatness. So we choose the thing that is best fitted for us. You go to heaven, they will compare to the flower, that parijatam flower or whatever flowers they see that. Here we are comparing to the best flower we see. It is not like the Kingini Vaiche, the Tamare Pupole. It is more beautiful than that and more important than that. It is blossoming more than that. That Kripa, yesterday we looked at Yetta Kanangal, Yedirpongi Midalipa, Marchade Palchim, Vallal Perum Pasukal. I told you guys about the pump set, right? The pump set, it will continuously give the water without even any sort of end. I'm just giving that as an example. The Lord's Kripa is nothing compared to the pump set, nor is it anything compared to these cows that are continuously giving milk. It is unimaginable. The most that we can think of is these examples. So we are giving the highest example there is. It blossomed that much, his Kripa. His eyes come with that much of love for us is what is shown here. That's how much we can explain it. It is not that his eyes are truly at that level. His eyes are beyond that we cannot explain. If we are able to explain him, he is not God. If we are able to see that this is how much he is, this is what he is, etc., that is limiting the unlimited. Infinity is what he is. Infinity, you cannot say that this is how much infinity is. It is unlimited is what you see. And so that's why I brought up this question. Katturekil Tamare nin kanpadam kayyova. However, Andal says Kingini Vaiche the Tamare Pupole, because that is what the best we can do is Kingini Vaiche the Tamare Pupole. Chengan Chirichiride, Yemme Vriapol. You take that Chengan Chirichiride, those eyes, Chirichiride, Yemme Vriapol, slowly give me Kripa out of it. Why did we see that slowly Kripa? Yesterday I mentioned Yetta Kanangal, Yedirpongi Midalipa. It's continuously giving the milk. Similarly, I mentioned the pump set. If you bathe in it, you will end up getting bruised. When I bathed in it, I ended up getting bruised. If you continuously put your back on it, underneath it, unlike how you put your back underneath the shower, you'll end up getting bruised. That's why we prefer the shower, do we not? It's chiride. Slowly give us that Kripa. He can give us unlimited jnanam. He can continuously give us that jnanam. He can always make us think of him. What happened? He did that for Nammarvar, and then he struggled to keep Nammarvar alive itself. You see, in the Padigam, in the third Padigam of Thiruppāvai, he gave Nammarvar so much of anubhava of himself. He showed him what sort of greatness he has, he showed him his greatness. Then afterwards, he shows his yelime, how simple he is, how easy he is to access. What happened to Nammarvar? Nammarvar fainted for 6 months. That's what you see. Similarly, Nammarvar at so many points in his Prabandhams, he is about to reach death because of how much he is immersed in the qualities of the Lord. That's what will happen if you fully give the Kripa. So what does he do? Chirichiride yemme viriyapol. Alvar also says, Ellirum veedu petral ulagillai. Only if there is darkness will we be able to appreciate the light. So if he's continuously giving us light, if the sun is the light, if the sun is sitting here right next to us, will any of us survive? We will all be in flames within seconds. We will all die. We wouldn't be able to handle it. Or even if the entirety of the day is okay, we move the sun there. If the sun is even an inch closer, the earth will go into flames. We know this. If it's a little bit farther, we will all end up freezing is what we see. So that is the state, the perfection of where the sun is placed. Similarly, so okay, the sun is there. At least have it all day long. All day, it's that. If we have the sun all day, when will we sleep? When will we be able to? So many other things will get impacted for us, right? He has chosen how to give the sun. He will give it half the day, and then he will, at the right amount, he is giving it. Similarly, if he were to give his full kripa, that jnanam, we will not be able to handle it. He is giving it little by little based on what is best for us. If we are able to see the sun all the time, we won't be able to appreciate it. Sunrise, sunset, we love seeing these because it is not always that. That is the beauty of that, right? So hence, you see that Chiride slowly give us that jnanam Because if you don't give us that jnana, if you give us that jnanam fully, we will not be able to say chirichiride emme viriyapol tingalum adityanum ezhundarpol, just like how the sun and the moon do. My Acharyan shows the meaning for this as the moon, it provides a little bit of light for us. Just like we are able to see some things in the full moon light. We're not able to see everything. We're able to see the general shape of things. So for instance, what that means is, and then in the sun, you see everything, you see all the details. What is the meaning of this is asked. The moon, or the little bit of light, is for us to first understand that he is the protector. That is the first step. In the first 5 Pasurams, I first told you guys, he is the protector, he's the protector, he's the protector. Still saying that. But that's the point that I gave in the first 5 Pasurams. Then afterwards, slowly we started going to Gunanubhavam. I started saying how his eyes are like the Tamare, how he has the Kripa, how he has Jnanam, Shakti, Prapti, Purti. We slowly started seeing more details afterwards only. Similarly, first we see the Tingal, then after we see the Aditya. We first see the general shape of the Embaraman, the general aspects of Embaraman, what he is the protector of us. Then afterwards we see the details. If we just jumped into the details, we may get confused. So hence he slowly gives it like this. This is another way. Chiride. He's slowly giving us that jnanam. He's giving it at the right time based on what we need. We can say that, oh, Perumale, why are you making me suffer? Why are you making me have not think about you today? Or you are saying that, oh, if I only remembered about God when I was little, I could have learned all these things back then. He is giving it slowly as we need to. If we had that opportunity at young age itself, maybe we wouldn't appreciate it now. You see so many different things like that, right? So he's slowly giving it based on our needs is what is shown in this passage very clearly by Andal. Chengan chirichiride emme viriyapol tingalam adityanum ezhundarpol, such eyes, such kripa, Angan irandum konde engal mel nokkudiye. Show those eyes upon us. Engal mel shabam irindu. Remove all of our worries is what Andal says. What is this shabam? That Padangal tirkum paramadi gatum. All sorts of stresses, worries. Remove it from us is what Andal says. Chengan chirichire emme viriyapol tingalam adityanum ezhundarpol Angan irandum kondu. Show those 2 eyes upon us. Engal mel nokkudiye. Remove all of our papam. Remove all of our suffering is what Andal says. Papam equals to suffering. Punyam equals to happiness. You remove. But that's why the Arvas continuously call him Punyan. If there is any Punyan, it is him. He will give us that happiness is what. Remove that Shabam and give us that happiness. Engal male Shabam. And so you may ask, one of the questions that came up is, why do we go about with, this easy method of just saying that he's going to take care of everything? Is it not a form of laziness? That is a question that is asked. You see that Krishna has given so many ways to achieve him in the Bhagavad Gita. You see Bhakti Yogam, Karma Yogam, Jnana Yogam, etc. etc. If we want these Shabam to go away, if we want these suffering to go away, shouldn't we engage in one of these things? Why are we just saying, oh, he will take care? Whenever he gives the knowledge, he will give. Whenever he gives the thought, I will do. Whenever he's telling me to go to the temple, I will go to the temple. Whenever he's making me do this, I will do it. Is that not a form of laziness is asked? To which Parasara Bhattar, you see it in his story as well, he's given an answer. Similarly, in Mumukshupadi as well, a vicharam happens. Why do we choose this path? The main reason is not because we are, you see those ways are very hard as well. You see that it is very hard to do Bhakti Yogam. It takes lives upon lives upon lives. It is very hard to do that. Is it that the reason why we are just simply don't want to work hard and we are doing this? No. The main reason is that we are his limbs. The limbs do not try to do something on their own. It is he is the Atma, we are the limbs. The main reason is Swarupa Viruddhame Pradhanam. The main reason we are choosing to go about this path instead of any of the other paths is because any of the other paths as well, at the end of the day, he is the one that is going to give it. Just because you do something, you put some ghee inside of a fire and suddenly through that you're going to achieve moksha. No, he has to come and give that moksha if there is to be any moksha. Just because you say that, oh, I'm going to put so many flowers at his feet, moksha is suddenly going to show up and be like, you asked for me. It's not like a vending machine where you put something in and it comes out. Even if the person, it is like he has to come and give it either way. This is what is shown here. And so that is why Swarupa Viruddhame Pradhanam. So we have to wait for his Angan. We have to wait for his Kripa. His eyes will shower at the time that they should. He will shower them whenever it is necessary. We just wait with that. Without that gñālatthu kartatva. We do not think that we are going to achieve that knowledge. Without that, we are going to wait for him to give us that knowledge because we are the limbs. He is the Atma. Atma is the one that controls the limbs, is it not? So we wait for that kripa. Angan irandum kondu engal mel nokkudhiye, engal mel shabam irinde. So by that, he will remove all our worries. We do not have to worry about removing our worries, is what Andal says with this pastor. With this, Adi will conclude. Angan gñālatthu abhimana pangamai vandinin pandit kattittire செங்கமிழ் போல் வந்து தலைப்பெய்தோம் கிங்கினி வாய் செய்த தாமரை பூ போலே செங்கன் சிறுச்சிறதே எம்மே விரியா போல் திங்களும் ஆதித்யனும் என்றார் போல் அங்கன் எண்ணம் கொண்டெங்கள் மேல் நோக்குதியே எங்கள் மேல் சாபம் விதிந்தேலோர் எம்பாவர். With this, tomorrow's topic is the Lion King.
So this Pāsuram of Andal can also be understood as a prayer to our own Acharya to bless us more and more. So in that way, we can see this, Angan gñālatthu. Angan gñālatthu means the world, this body itself can be compared to a universe. It is said that a single cell actually is as complex as how the entire universe is functioning, the biologists say. So gñālatthu means this refers to the jivatma, how a jivatma should go and approach an Acharya. Abhimana pangamai vandinin pallikkitte. We have to go and approach our Acharya with great humility. We should not go with the intention of challenging him or questioning him to prove him wrong, etc. Whatever he says, this will be for our good. So we have to go with great humility. In this, a beautiful example just occurred to our, occurred to Adiyan's head. So there was this great Acharya called Nadadu Ammal. Okay, he is called Ammal because Kanchi Devakarmal celebrated him as his own mother. Actually, he used to give prashadam. Like one day when the priest was offering nivedanam, milk, it was very hot. Then he asked the priest, if this hot milk is given to the Supreme Lord, his tongue will burn. So he kind of cooled the milk and made it to a point where it was very easy for the Supreme Lord, and then he offered it. So when this was offered, Kanchi Devakarma said, are you Yashoda herself? With so much of compassion, so much of parivu, we say, that overwhelming love that you are offering these things. So this Acharya, when he was young, he was learning Sri Bhashya. He was a great Sri Bhashya. He was an authority on Sri Bhashya, on Bhagavad Ramanujacharya's Sri Bhashya, which is nothing but the essence of all Vedantas. So the commentary it starts with Akila Janmasteva Lile. So he first, in his own grandfather, Nadadu Radwan, was one of the Simhasanadhipatis. So there were 74 disciples of Bhagavad Ramanujacharya Swami. Each one is worthy of a throne. That is the amount of spiritual knowledge and wealth they had. So his own grandfather, Nadadu Radwan, was the Simhasanadhi. He went and he was learning. So the very beginning itself, he asked a question. Why is it Akila Janmasteva? Why can't it be Nikila Janmasteva Lile? Then Nadadu Radwan closed his book and said, I am not a person who can teach you. You go to stay in, there is a Divya Desam near Srirangam called Thiruppāvai. So there is an Acharya by name Vishnu Chitta. You go and Engaladwan. So you have to go and learn this from him only. He is the most appropriate person. So this person, Nadadu Ammal, he went all the way. His name is Varadacharya. He went all the way to Thiruppāvai to learn the meanings. Then Engaladwan, he knocked the doors of Engaladwan, asked, Engaladwan says, who is this? He says, I am Varadacharya. Then he said, Nan Settu Varam. The meaning is, you die and come back. He was confused. What is this? He came back to his grandfather. This is what his Acharya is saying. If I die, how can I come back? What is he trying to say? Then he says, no, don't. That is not what he's meant. Give up your ego, give up your pride, and with humility, you have to go and approach. So next time when he asks, who is there? You say, Adiyan. Adiyan means humble self. Okay, it's a very beautiful word. In Sri Vaishnavas, we never say I or me. We say Adiyan. So that Adiyan means humble self. So we have come begging for your knowledge. So this is how you have to introduce yourself. Adiyan Ramanujasan, my grandfather has requested me to learn Sri Bhashya from me. So then he says, come, and then he gives the entire meanings of Sri Bhashya, and with and he gave Kalakshepam to all his disciples on Sri Bhashya. That Kalakshepams are all compiled together as a grantha called Shruta Prakasika. And that with that grantha only we will be able to even understand the inner meanings of Sri Bhashya. So that is how great he was. So Angan gñālatthu here means when we approach our Acharya, we have to approach him with great humility. That is what Andal is trying to tell us here. And he himself will also give us, he will make us overcome this Ahankara and Mamakara. Just like how we saw in the case of how Engaladwan beautifully pins him or gives him that true knowledge by overcoming his avankahara makara, the Acharya himself, by his own grace, he will make sure that he will dispel all our ahankara and mamakara, and then little by little, he will be able to give us this knowledge. Sangam Abhimana Pangama Vandinin Palli Katirkere. Palli Katirkere refers to the throne actually. Krishna is sitting on a throne. Andal is requesting in the contact of Krishna to come and sit on a throne and then bless her. So here it refers to the Simhasana devotees. As we saw earlier, Bhagavat Ramanujacharya out of Kripa, he established 74 Simhasana devotees. All these Simhasana devotees were as good as Bhagavat Ramanujacharya Swami himself in terms of jnana, in terms of bhakti and vairagya, the detachment from world. But still he asked them all to get married and have children so that the Shishya Parampara can continue, and people who are coming later and later, they will also stand to benefit. So if those 74 disciples were not there, we will not be there today. That is what the thing. So Simhasana Adhipati. So Pangamaya Vandinin Palli Kattirikere. Sangam Thiruppāvai Pāsuram Kingini Vaicchena Thamarai Pooppole. Sengen Chirichille Emel Vudiyavo. So he says, little by little, the Acharya will slowly and slowly, he will look at our position. And then based on our position, he will come down and then slowly he will give us the knowledge and gradually he will lift her. Just like a mother lifting a child, she will not instantly take her and put her on the, she just little by little she carries. So in this way, Acharya, by giving us the spiritual knowledge, slowly and steadily, he will be able to uplift us. We have to remember that it is he who is always uplifting us out of his own compassion. Then Chendin Chirichide, Emel Vudiyavo, Tingalam Adityanam Endarpol. So here she's talking, as Swami said, the sun and the moon. So when he talks about the glories of the Supreme Lord, he will appear like a moon. It will be so appealing to our heart when he talks about how Vidura offered the plantain, instead of offering the plantain, he offered the skin of the plantain. And then Vidura, Krishna was like, he was keeping on eating. The moment he came to a state of steady state, and asked, hey, what a mistake I am doing, Krishna said, that's enough, because it is not the plantain or the plantain's fruit. It is that bhakti bhava. That is what was enjoying. That Krishna was also so overwhelmed. Vidura was also so overwhelmed. Why? Because he was very, very humble. Vidura was so humble that, oh Krishna, you are the Supreme Lord, but you did not go to Duryodhana's house, because Duryodhana was the person who invited you, and he built, he had made lot of arrangements to host Krishna. You did not go there. You did not go to Bhishmacharya's house. He was also a great bhakta, but you did not go there. You did not go to a Brahmana's house like Drona or Kripacharya's. You did not go there. But you came to my humble hut. Okay, and because of his low birth, he always had this humility. It came naturally. Vidura came naturally. Why he did not go to Bhishma's house? Because Bhishma, even though he was a bhakta, he had a small ahankara that it was because of him that the Kauravas and Pandavas were actually, even in little bit talking terms. But for him, they would have just clashed each other and they would have annihilated the whole plan. So he had that small ahankara. Dronacharya being a Brahmana, I am very learned, I am a scholar, that kind of an ahankara was there. But Vidura did not have any kind of that ahankara. So that is why Krishna chose on his own to come to Vidura's house. So what it means is, if we don't have this ahankara and mamakara, Krishna automatically will come into our hearts. The reason why we are not able to see Krishna is because of our own thinking, of our own ego and pride. So we are going to pray to our Acharya to slowly and in a little bit manner to help us overcome this, so that our heart is also filled with lot of Krishna bhakti. And while doing seva also, as Swami said, right, we have to be with the knowledge that it is not I am doing the seva. So rather we have to do that. My Acharya has put this knowledge in my head. He has given the true knowledge. The Swarupa, my Swarupa is to actually serve the Lord. Just like the body, it is always breathing, right? When we are sleeping also it is breathing. When we are laughing, it is breathing. When we are talking, it is breathing. It is doing. Similarly, this servitude to the Supreme Lord is like our breath. Just like how the body is constantly breathing, similarly for the Atma, the breath is doing Kaikarya, doing services to the Lord, offering Mangala Sastrams to the Lord. And this has to be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, not for my pleasure. Even while doing the service itself, we get some kind of an ananda. But that ananda is, Andal is also going to speak about that later on in her next set of Pasuram. But this ananda is not what we want. It is the ananda of looking at your feet, at your lips. Padiyai karandin in pavadavai kanbine. So he says, I want to be like a step serving you and your devotees, but I want to also look at your beautiful, your mouth. Why? When he acknowledges our services, that time, we have to reciprocate by, oh Lord, thank you for giving this birth. Thank you for giving an opportunity to serve you. Now that you have acknowledged my service, I want to express my happiness. Now that is seeing his happiness, we should feel happy. Seeing our happiness, he feels happy. So, and this goes on into an infinite cycle. That is why we have to look at, when we look at Krishna's beautiful mouth, right? As Swami beautifully said in Ataram Mataram, everything is beautiful about him. His smile, he is acknowledged. The very fact that you have given up all the other activities that are going on in so many other places. You have come to my temple and you have come to do service to me. That itself is like making him happy. So always he is just looking at us and smiling at us. And the Mother Radhika is just inviting all of us. Don't be afraid of your papas. Don't think that you are very, very insignificant, etc. You are as much a Jivatma. You are as lovable to the Supreme Lord as Radhika herself. So don't be afraid of that. Come, I will help you and engage you in the service. So that is the meaning of the Acharya. This is the meaning that an Acharya gives us in a very precise form we saw in today's Pasuram. And we will pray to our Acharya that he should bless more and more with his benevolent eyes, so that we can also be becoming better and better in the service of Krishna and his devotees. With that, we will start and then we will continue tomorrow. Srimati Vishnu Chittari Manonandana Hedve Nandanandana Sundariya Godaya Nityamangala Srimati Ramyaja Matru Muni Indirai Mahatme Tiranga Vasini Bhuyat Nityasri Nityamangalam.